Welcome back. My name is Vern, and today we will be talking about your superpower. Now, we all have superpowers, right? Wrong? Well, hopefully after today's show, you will know what your superpower really is. Or you will know how to find the superpower after today's show. First of all, let's go back and talk about when we're young. I'm reading from a Forbes magazine here, and we're just talking about this subject. But it says here, from a very young age, we are told to correct the things we aren't great at. When we're young, right? And it gives the illustration of a teacher. Although you could be a genius in math, you need to get better at spelling. So, your parents and your teacher try to encourage you to spell better. And you get a similar well-meant advice from your managers often. And often this is good advice, but it forces you to focus more attention on weaknesses than on the things that make you great. Now, add to that something called negativity bias, and that's a whole nother discussion. But it gives a simple illustration here. It says you have a recipe for excessive focus on your weaknesses. So negativity bias means that we give something that is negative more weight than we give something positive. So it goes all the way back to the caveman days when you had to give a threat. If someone threatened you or there was a grizzly in the bush or something like that, you had to give that threat a lot more attention because your life pretty much depends upon it. So all of this attention to weaknesses gives you a mistaken mindset and it impedes your success, right? So the path to success is paved with fixing weaknesses. That's how it puts it here. So when you focus too much attention on fixing weaknesses, you become fine at a lot of things. So fine, this article says, is the ugliest four-lettered word that begins with F when it comes to career success. And that's because people don't get excited about things that are fine, average, okay, or acceptable. The writer goes on to say, I'm not recommending that you ignore weaknesses altogether, but you must become at least fine at those things that will help you reach your goals. But for other weaknesses, the best approach is to ignore them and focus on your strengths. People are impressed by and excited about things that are outstanding, superb, exceptional, amazing. And that's you, right? All strong brands are known by their superlative or their superpowers. So this is talking about branding, and it gives this illustration. I thought it was a good illustration, though, when we think of superpowers. And I know for myself, it was exactly this. In school, I was good at math, but I was not good at spelling. But I liked writing stories. But I really got docked in my marks because of my spelling and my grammar. So I'm working on that. Hopefully one day I can become good at it, but I know I'm not. But my good wife, she is superb at grammar. In fact, she knows all the languages in Canada. And guess what they are? English and French. She knows both languages. There's a lot of indigenous languages a lot of us don't know. But there's a lot of languages. And if my wife doesn't speak the language, she knows how to translate it. So you see, some of us are very superb, very amazing at certain things in life. And that becomes one of our superpowers. Another example is my dad was a mechanic. And you could go down to the shop, and my dad just loved mechanics. He was always working on something, and he would throw off the most amazing endorphins because he loved mechanics. And you'd go down there, and he was a different person. when it came to mechanics. But you put him with a hammer and a nail and tell him to finish the house or finish the room in the house that hasn't been finished for ever. He's a different man. He throws out a different energy. So you and I are like that too. We become, there's areas of our life that we really like and we really excel at, and we throw off good energy. Now we're going to talk about that energy. The energy that we throw off is actually frequencies. And scientific studies show that the human brain reaches its ultimate potential for health and wellness when it resonates with the Earth's 7.83 hertz frequency. So perhaps you've heard of that there's a way of measuring it. They call it a Schumann's resonance. I don't know if I got that right, but the Earth resonates a frequency. And the human body resonates a frequency. They say the human body resonates around 5 hertz. And this is really interesting. It says staying in sync with Earth's natural frequency can positively affect physical and mental health, daily performance, and promote an overall sense of well-being. So that's why when people go for nature walks, they get out into the nature, they get more in tune with the frequencies. And you see, folks, we are all built out of frequencies. Or energy, if we put it that way, is what I'm trying to say. You take coal that is suppressed with extreme energy, it turns to diamonds, the strongest substance that we know on Earth. We use that to cut all kinds of things, diamonds. But the energy is just tremendous, the pressure. So we come out coal, there's little bits of spaces. It's not as dense as a diamond. And then we get up to dirt and we get up to the human body. Well, the human body has lots of little spaces between our cells. Our bone mass is much more compact, like the diamond perhaps. We would want that for a bone, a diamond bone. But our bones aren't that strong. But they're stronger than our flesh, of course. So it's how dense the particles, the molecules are compressed. But everything on Earth is energy. And we all resonate energy. So if I'm on the screen and I'm like this, and I'm smiling, this resonates across the universe to whoever's watching. But if I'm on the screen and I'm like this, that is a different type of energy. So right by our facial expressions, our eyes, you, as the onlooker, can tell the energy that I'm resonating. And if I'm excited, if I'm passionate, sorry about hitting the mic so much, it's close. So I'll calm down here. But this is an exciting subject for me. I started exploring this subject back when I was a Jehovah's Witness. Right at the tail end, about 3 years before I'd left, I was regular pioneering. And I was working up in the high Arctic, in unassigned territories, and I felt different. It was a different feeling walking through these towns. The people were different. There was a different energy, and I couldn't nail it. So I started researching it, and I met a guy up there who was into an IT guy, and we started talking about it. And it was way over my head, but we started researching this, and this was back in 2010. And I came back and I shared this with one of the elders, and he was kind of, we talked about energies, and so I'll show you where I went with the conversation back in 2010 when I was a Jehovah's Witness. And now I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that there is a superpower available to all of us, within us, and once we tap into it, our energies just change, and our world changes, and it has to do with energies, and it's biblical. So let me walk you through it with where my research has taken me. And so we talked a little bit about the Earth's frequency of 7.83 hertz. The body's frequency is about 5 hertz. You guys can research this. Just plug it into the internet. It's a fascinating study once you go down this rabbit hole. And it's based on science. And they use Schumann's resonance to even measure lightning strikes on other planets. So it's a well-known research study, and it's in Wikipedia and everything. So we're going to talk about a different frequency. Now, it says there is a frequency vibration which connects the heart to the nature of love. And when this energy vibrates at this frequency, whether in the form of light or sound, it will evoke feelings of love and connection. And this frequency is known as the miracle note. And it's a frequency of 528 hertz. Now, one of the studies I was looking at here, and I'm just going to read it. It says, what is the energy of love? It says, the highest form of energy on this planet is love when they measure frequencies. All energy vibrates at different levels, but love vibrates at the highest frequency. Now, in our daily lives, we often forget to pay attention to our surroundings. But if we stop what we're doing just for a moment, we can feel the energy of love all around us. Okay, so just stop for a moment and see what you're feeling. Can you feel it? Do you feel energy? Now, if you're in an environment where there's a lot going on, you might not feel it. But if you can get out into nature, now, of course, we live on the farm, and we live in seclusion. And now, just to go back to my story, I started researching this love energy back when I was a Jehovah's Witness, and I kept researching it. And I put myself in different environments. I took myself away from people, and I started to, and that's when I met my good wife. And we were way out, not by choice, it's where we had to be. It was a way out in the country, a way out in the middle of nowhere. It was, you'd have to hop in your vehicles and drive for at least a half hour, 45 minutes in the winter for sure, to get to the nearest town where you could get groceries. So we lived a way out there, and you would only go into town when you absolutely had to because it cost a lot of money to drive. So we were out at this farm, and we were next to the boreal forest, and I noticed my energies started to change out there at that farm. But there was something holding me back. And it wasn't until I started to write books. I called the books A Journey to Love. I wrote 5 books out at that farm. And then when I got to this, we sold the farm finally, and we moved closer to a major center. So now we could basically walk and get groceries where we live now. So it's about a couple of kilometers or so. So when we talk about changing, so we changed here. There's more traffic, but we're still in this secluded area. It's a fenced-in area, about 21 acres. And we have animals. And what I noticed here, still having the JW thinking, I had bouts of anger and resentment and maybe even hatred towards some of the people that I felt offended me. So my pride was very high up. And I took offense to everything that was said. You're demonized and things like that. And then I held on to that. And it was very, very unhealthy. So through the process of this channel for the last 15 months, and prior to this channel, I took 6 months and wrote my 7th book. And that's the only book I put online. The other books will come online onto our website. So you check our website out. Our other books will be available this winter as I put them on for free to you guys as the XJW community. And I want you to enjoy the journey by video, and you can get a free PDF copy. But it's a journey to love. It's my journey, and I started to write about love and on this farm. And I wrote 5 books, and then when I got to this farm, I wrote about going to heaven and putting the case in front of Jesus, as the judge. So I wrote that book, and that one is on Amazon. Some have read it. These are all fictional fantasy based on real life events, all of my books. So I kind of imagine things and what this love could be like. And so it's quite interesting when we take this journey. And now where I'm at is I'm back researching love in a different level. There's been a lot more research. It's been since 2010. We're now 2023. That's 13 years. So there's a lot of research into this word love, and they're finding that it's healing. And if they can get the body to resonate to a higher frequency, which is love, the highest frequency, it raises us from that 5 hertz up more to where the earth is at, the 7.8. And they're inducing that. There's ways that they induce this. And over centuries, they have induced this with peyote, different grasses, different incenses. You oftentimes in monasteries, there's incense going. I know in indigenous communities, this is a huge thing. And now here in Canada, they have legalized marijuana, and that raises a person's frequencies in the body. And they're doing studies in Israel on medical marijuana and how that increases the person's frequencies with old age. And the old age, they do not feel the arthritis and the pain that a lot of people feel. Now, some of the other studies that they have done is with alcohol. And alcohol actually lowers the body's frequency. Now, the whole world has been hooked on alcohol. But alcohol lowers your body's frequency and takes you further away from, the higher frequencies. And love is at the top. It's the highest frequency. So we're going to talk about love next, and we're going to look at the Bible. Now, I'll throw this up on the display, and here it is. God is love. Now, we all know that if we have faith in the Bible, or if we have even studied the Bible or looked at the Bible. Now, here's what the Bible says. It says, so we've come to know and believe that the love that God has for us, God is love. God is love. So that tells me if God is love, now God's not visible to us, to our eyes. And we're made up of these particles that aren't close together like diamonds, but we're flesh and blood. So we are not a spirit. God is in the spirit form. So if God's in the invisible, well, I can't see the frequencies of love or the endorphins and the oxytocins that I don't know if I said that right, but we throw out chemicals also. Pheromone, I said that wrong. But we throw out these endorphins. Maybe that's the right word, which are pheromones. And we throw these chemicals out when we're in love. And when two people are in love, they experience a higher frequency. And you see, research has found that they're inducing drugs like marijuana, which is grass growing, to induce similar highs to falling in love. And this is what's raising the frequencies and healing people all over the earth today. So I believe that this is old medicine. Old medicine going back to the very beginning of time. God is love. So if God is love, God is resonating at that higher frequency of love, 528 hertz. And that's the note of where God is. So if we want to get the God power coming into our life, we have to raise that frequency 24 hours a day in our life and get to where God is. So this is a bit of a research project. The Bible says here that the image of God, we are made in the image of God. And you can go a long ways with this. It says God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. So you take it to, God's a spirit. Are we really in God's image? Well, maybe there's a breath of life in us, like a spirit. The Bible talks about that. So therefore, we would be in God's image. And maybe when we die, that spirit keeps living. That consciousness, that energy, that higher frequency, perhaps. So it says that we're made in God's image. Now, that's another discussion of its own. We go to the Bible in 2 Timothy. It says, "For God gave us a spirit, not of fear, but of power and love and self-control." So God gave us this spirit, this energy, this frequency. So when something happens in our life, do we blow out of control? Or do we have self-control? Do we look for love? Now, if you can master that, put it in your comments and let me know, because I am still working on that one greatly. But I believe we master these things step by step. We admit our mistakes, we talk about them, and we look for answers. Why are we not achieving this higher spirit of love all the time? We go to Colossians. It says that their hearts may be encouraged, being knit together in love. So our hearts, talking about us as people, and we knit together our hearts with love. And it says once we do that, we will reach all the richness and full assurance of understanding and the knowledge of God's mystery, which is Christ. So it says we knit our hearts together with love as a people. And that's how we reach a higher understanding, through love. Now it says, rather, speaking the truth in love, we are to grow up in every way into Him who is the head, into Christ. So we speak with love. We speak the truth with love. And for us that came out of the Jehovah's Witness religion, we have to accept a lot with love. We have to accept that there was a lot of false teachings. We have to accept that there was idol worship with 9 men. We have to accept that the organization was covering up crimes. So for us to reach truth, there's a lot of untruth we have to undo to reach this higher energy of love. Now, the last scripture is in John, 1 John, I believe. And I'll give you the scripture. It's John. So John 13 and verse 34, it says, "A new command I give you, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also are to love one another." So this is really what Jesus was asking. This is what God was asking, is for us to get onto that higher level or that higher frequency of love. You see, if we get to that higher frequency of love, we are on the God frequency. We are tapping into our superpowers of life. So we're going to talk about that, our superpowers, unleashing our superpowers. And there's a lot of information on that. It says, love is our emotional vitamin which fills us with vitality and strength towards life. And that is why we say that love is our superpower. It powers our growth and our ability to walk upright through life. And the power of love is extremely potent, largely neglected resources we can tap into at any time. And it is the conscious choice to see the best in others. This power stems from the principle that we offer to others, we strengthen in ourselves. So love is a superpower. Now I forgot to turn my screen off, but so we're going to carry on. I think there was a few more quotes here on love, or did I nail them all? Now one more here. The love healing studies. Feeling loved and valued by others helps to promote a healthier lifestyle choices, good self-esteem, lessens stress factors, and provides a better lifelong mental health. A strong sense of self-worth can also lead to healthier relationships now and in the future. And this is some of the problems we're having as ex-Jehovah's Witnesses coming out, is the shunning and the cruelty of the hatred toward us when we leave or change or just quit going. But we're working together as a community, you and I, to actually have a voice and to talk about that. And that's loving, because having that voice and encouraging others to see that there's love on this side, I think is important. We're going to talk about that in a bit and look at some examples. Now, how long can a heart stay broken? A few days, a few weeks. If longer, they're saying go get some therapy, go talk to someone. Go talk to your doctor if your heart is broken. You can still love someone as a person in love memories you made together, even following a breakup. Now, why I'm using breakups as an illustration is because when we leave a religion, we're breaking up. And there's broken hearts. This is what happens. There's a lot of there's a lot of non-love going on, and our heart has to do with it. So it talks about living with a broken heart. Getting your heart broken can damage the way your heart functions forever, proving that for some people, time is not actually the greatest healer. So sometimes you just got to get help. You got to go see someone, a therapist. So this is even when leaving relationships. Sometimes we have to go see a family counselor. So heartbreaking, anything to do with our heart affects our love frequency. So we want to fix that quite quickly. If we are in, we talk about love, and if we're in a relationship where it's one-sided, and we're really trying hard to love, but the other side, there's no love, what's going to happen to our frequencies? We're never going to, because it's always a fight. It's always a fight. So sometimes, if it's always a fight, it may be important to maybe look at finding a different path. It could be separating the relationship to elevate your frequencies. Because if you allow yourself to be in these chaotic arrangements, like I think of elder bodies and elder meetings and going in and where they just work you over the coals, there's no love there. The person is afraid. The person's fearful of getting disfellowshipped. And there's so much emphasis put on fear, not love. And they claim that it's loving, but it's not. I've been in too many of them. Now, we want to move on. The mechanisms through which we love protects and heals. They're not only now being discovered. Talks about oxytocin, influences sociality, social experiences. It talks about some of these chemicals we release. So there's a lot of studies going into us, into the humans, when it comes to love as one of the main medicines that can be used. So if love is a medicine, how do we get more love? How do we elevate our frequencies? And I think that's something that we have to explore. But I want to first of all take you and show you some people that I know that are finding and elevating their frequencies in their life. Now, we talked about how it's important to find something in your life that you love. If you love mechanics, if you love housework. I love doing dishes. And my wife always comes and says, well, let me do them. And I said, no, I love doing dishes. You do all the cooking. It's a way I can help. And I love doing dishes because I look out the window. We're on a farm. And sometimes I visualize things. This is where I can dream up new programs like we're talking today. Just doing dishes. So I love doing dishes. So find something that you love and keep doing it. And maybe do more of it. And it may change the frequencies that you have in your life. Now I'm going to show you a few people that have found something that they love. Rick Fearon, I think for 18 years he's been doing this. He has over 5,000 videos out. This guy loves people. Here's another one. We don't even know who Watchtower Helper is. Anonymous. Thousands and thousands of hours into these animated movies to teach us, you and I, the way out of the Watchtower. This person has a lot of love. This is another one. We don't know who this person is, but they call themselves JW Researcher Rose. This person has a lot of love when you watch their programs. Watching the world, watching the Watchtower. We don't know who this person is, but we know there's a lot of love by all the information that they're showing everyone what's going on within Jehovah's Witnesses. Now here's another fella, GG4B, a lot of love. He's starting a brand new live that's coming up on Saturdays at 8 o'clock. And he is teaming up, I think. I was on last night. And he was teaming up with, I want to show Another one here, way down here. Now, everyone's doing a lot of work in this community. Right here, Aposta Babe. So here's Aposta Babe. She was on with GG4B, and they are doing lives together, and it's very easy. I tested it. I streamed in with my face, and then I got out and I just put an icon in. So you don't even have to show your face. And you can get on, and it's through a program that they have. It's so easy. So I tested it out last night, and these people have a lot of love. They're donating all their time, helping the community. It's because they love. They love what they're doing. That's why they're on here doing this. So so find something that you love and do it. If you have a pet, an animal, as I said this before, this is one of the best ways of increasing the love that you have in your life. You have to feed the pet. You have to care for the pet. You have to take the pet for a walk. You get to know the pet. And you'll find after a while, if you're on a farm like us, the pets all follow you around. They want to be around you. You know, I've talked about this with my wife a few years back, and I said, you know, we really don't need fences because we have this bubble of love. And the horses, the goats, everyone does not want to go outside of it. They stay close, and they want to be around us humans because of these chemicals we release. Now, another experiment we've done, one of our dogs is Beagle. So this dog is very, very sensitive, very in tune to what's going on. And you'll find that with the pets and the animals. They will sense things that we don't sense as humans. In fact, a dog, some dogs, or a wolf can sense 10 miles away things, smells. And they visualize and map out what's going on. Very intelligent through senses, through frequencies. And these animals are in tune with the frequency of the earth. So one of the best ways for us to raise our frequencies is through Mother Nature, through the wildlife around us. And we will find that the animals, the birds, will perhaps land on your arm, and you will get to experience a different level of love. So that's about all I have to say today, folks. Keep living your life with love. Bye for now.